There's a problem here. The yellow jersey Albacini has punctured. His teammate Tony Martin has waited with him, so Martin will be helping Albacini back to regain that chasing group. But the leaders, it's down to 30 seconds now, so it looks as though they're going to get swept up.
Yeah, you would think so, but there may be a little bit of hesitation in that group now, the fact that Albacini, because it was the HTC Columbia team that were doing most of the work.
Dan Martin is on the front of the three that are clear, but we just caught a glimpse of the chasers, and that 30 seconds has come down. 22, in fact.
Yeah, it looks like the days are numbered out front, and I think the main thing is just to see if Albacini can get back to that groove.
And you look at the pain on the face of Dan Martin, and I think that tells you all, doesn't it? He has been on the attack all day, but it looks as though it's going to come to nothing.
Yeah, he's had a very tough day, and a very attacking day, and if he doesn't get the most aggressive rider, then I'll be very surprised.
And now he's gone away on his own, so Martin, he's still determined to try and nail his stage.
Well, he's making one big effort. He's seen the group coming up behind, and he's just trying to hold them off with just a few kilometres to go.
Well, Hoogland and Heyman have sat up. He can only hope that that group will be happy with the fact that Martin is so far down on general classification. Cursory look back. He has established an advantage, but for how much longer? Yellow jersey, he's just about to make the junction here at the back of the chasers. So Tony Martin, his teammate, has done a first-class job to help him.
He has. It's still tough along this run into the finish before the right-hander, and then it does start to go down, a little bit of a descent before they're running onto the seafront.
So he's got no teammates to help him here, Dan Martin. It's a total lone effort. 10 kilometres to go, 6 miles. It's a big ask.
It is, especially when you've got a group of this size chasing you down.
32 seconds though. He's still got some riding left in those legs, and you're looking at a class act here. He has decided actually not to ride in the World Championships down in Australia. He wants to focus on the concluding classic of the year, and that's the Tour of Lombardy, and he has got the kind of attacking style that would suit him.
Well, that's certainly a course that would suit Dan Martin, and I can imagine that you know, he probably is making the right decision by not going to Melbourne. It probably doesn't suit him, that course.
Cautiously taking the twists and turns, because once again this mizzle has started, and it's been on and off all day, and when you're running off dry and damp roads, that is the worst condition.
It's just a tricky little descent through Dawlish, but there is a nasty little climb coming out to the other side of Dawlish, and this where if he can hold the gap here, he may well just have a chance.
So it's Dan Martin still powering his way along at the front, the former Irish champion. Now then, let's have a look at the gap. We've had a time split of 32 seconds, and he really is determined. He's been on the go all day, Martin, but you get the feeling that, well, they're going to come up to him.
Well, he's been out all day, and also most of the day they've been riding into a headwind here. That's why the pace of the overall pace for today's stage is a little bit down on what you would have expected it to be.
Now in Teignmouth, there's quite a few twists and turns before they take the right-hander to line up for the finishing funnel. So if he is still clear, that may well play into his hands.
Just a few motorbikes moving out there, which suggests that the group is coming up behind.
It is 30 seconds a gap, isn't it? And you are correct, they've been pulled out, the cars, and now Martin has been caught, and immediately we get an attack, and it looks like one of the riders from Vacances-Soleil. They've had a superb day today, haven't they, the team of Vacances-Soleil?
Well, they certainly deserve a victory if they do get one, and because they've been in all the right moves, and they've also not just been getting riders away, it's also been riders that are up there overall.
And there is Albacini, the yellow jersey, so he's recovered well from the chase after the puncture, and Richie Porte was also there.
He was, 2 riders from Vacances-Soleil.
Concluding stages now of stage 4. We're approaching the midway point then of this 8-day tour, and all these riders now anxious to try and get clear to avoid the sprint. This is Richie Porte, this talented Australian, and he has actually established a slender advantage.
They have, and it's about 1, 2, 3, 4, it's about 9 riders in this little group.
And we normally associate Richie Porte with making efforts on climbs, and he's also a good time trialer, isn't he? Not trying to get clear in the closing stages, but he's been pulled back, and they're all together.
And there's definitely a gap open there. I can see Jack Bauer, the yellow jersey, is also in there.
Another attack forming here And this is the Colnago rider, Pozzovivo, and they're inside the concluding 5 kilometres.
Yeah, but I think there's a little bit of a reaction from, he's sitting up, Richie Port, and Jack Bauer not wanting to go through either, so it's a little gap opening.
Well, can he profit from this? They're all looking at each other, and that gap is increasing.
It is. Richie Port just having a drink there, and it would be interesting to see who does actually take up the chase.
So it's rolling, isn't it, here on the approach to the finish in Teignmouth. And Russell Downing looks as though he's struggling a little bit here to stay on the pace of the chase group. Well, he's still persisting, this Italian, and the yellow jersey, Albacini, is looking across to see whether he's got any allies in this front group.
Well, one person who does seem to be still doing the work is Richie Port.
Well, you've got to start to speculate here on the finish if he comes down to a sprint. Vacon Soleil have actually got 3 riders in contention.
They have, they're very strongly represented in this front group, but you can also see that the rest of that group is not too far behind either, so this could still come back together.
You're right, they keep crawling their way up, don't they? And that size of group increases all the time. But he's still just there, menacingly ahead, isn't he, this Italian? He's going to get pulled back, though. It's only a matter of time.
It certainly looks that way, and you can see from the helicopter shot just how hard this run into the finish is.
And it looks like Dan Martin is beginning to lose contact as well at the back. He's about 10 metres adrift. Hardly surprising with the amount of work he's put in today.
There's Richie Port still doing a lot of work to bring this rider back.
And at the back, the Irish rider, I think that's Phil Lavrio as well, who was on the attack early on. Now, look at this, a reaction from Vacon Soleil here. And this looks like Wout Poels to me, who was the leader on the King of the Mountains on day 1.
Well, it's a perfect time to attack, just as the group's reacting and pulling the Italian back. He's gone, and this could be a really good move. He's got a little bit of a fast descent here into the last kilometre.
And once he gets into the twists and turns of Teignmouth, that will play into his advantage being on his own. There we are, 2 kilometres to go. I think that is a very positive move.
It is, and he's just got the descent now to 1 kilometre to go. Oh, that was a bit close.
Enthusiasm from the spectators at the side, and he actually ducked under the arm of that school lad.
Quick reactions after 106 miles in the saddle.
Unbelievable. Anyway, Wout Poels, it is the man that's driving on here, looking for the stage victory in Teignmouth, and he's established a nice working gap.
Yeah, this is the rest of that, what was the original 30-plus man group.
And the Italian, who was slightly ahead earlier, is now tucked in at the back. He's going away here. This is nice.
Yeah, he's took a quick glance over his shoulder just to see where the gap is, and a quick run round this bend before the left-hander at the Flamme Rouge, or the 1 kilometre kite.
Well, he's certainly teeing himself up here for a serious tilt at this stage victory, and giving the group the slip just before the 3 kilometre mark, wasn't it? Now he's come under the 1 kilometre pennant, and now he will swing towards the seafront and the finish, and that gap looks like a winning gap to me.
It certainly does. He's just got 2 or 3 little bends to negotiate before turning on to the long finishing straight.
So it's Wout Poels here at the front, this Dutchman riding on the Vacon Soleil team. And now he will take one of the sweetest turns of his career, because he'll be lining up for the run down the finishing straight. And there's a massive crowd here. They've been there all day waiting for the arrival of the riders here in the Tour of Britain.
Just turning right onto the seafront, and that gap looks as though it's a winning gap.
It is a winning gap, that, Graham. 300 metres to go. Nobody's going to catch the Flying Dutchman. Interesting to see who will get the gallop for second behind Poels. I think he can start to give us the victory celebrations. He's so far clear. But we can expect a superb sprint from the rest of the group behind. There we are. He's just straightening up the jersey. That's what they do in the professional game. And there is the victory salute. Now look at the charge behind. And it looks like another Vacon Soleil rider to me. So we've had a double victory salute. And that was Borut Bozic coming over the line second, Koen de Kort third, and the yellow jersey safely in 7th spot. Rest of the riders coming down the finishing straight. It's been a real tough stage today, and a good showing by Motorpoint Marshall's Pasta. 3 of their team coming across the line. They're well placed, but where are the peloton? It's going to be a long wait before they cross the line.
It will be, and just hope the crowd stays around to see them come in.
Well, Richie Port's had a cracking ride today, and so has Albacini, still in yellow. But the day belongs to the Vacansoleil boys. First and seconds, Wout Poels wins the stage. Borut Bozic second. Look at this. They are happy, and why not? Can't get a better result than that.
The long climber's physique of Wout Poels, arms aloft and seeing the victory home after a day when Vacansoleil went on the charge. And the net result, a 1-2 for their team, Poels and Borut Bozic. Endurer's Jack Bauer came in 4th place, Patrick Sinkovits in 5th, Richie Porte in 6th, Greg Henderson did well to coast home 11th, losing only 15 seconds. And Motorpoint Marshall's Pasta will be delighted with their domestic hat-trick of riders who stuck around in that group of 30-odd. Big crowds in Teignmouth then to cheer home the Dutchman, just a second win in his 2 years as a pro.
We tried to attack the yellow jersey with Johnny and Bozic. We have 4 stages more, so maybe we can try something.
Johnny Hugeland, for so long in that break of 3, took the Mountains jersey from Richie Porte and made up 4 seconds on the overall as he did it. The Tasmanian Devil, though, Richie Porte, has been on the podium every day so far, and today was no different. He leads the sprint competition by 4 points from Greg Henderson. It was a race of 2 halves today, the main bunch, including one Bradley Wiggins, finishing just within the cut-off over 26 minutes down. A bit of a reshuffle up top in GC. Henderson drops 2 places to 4th, and Bozic picked up 9 seconds on the road. He's now in 3rd. Richie Porte moves into 2nd at 1:28. Rob Partridge also moves up 2 places and remains the top placed